Make sure the engine is cold before working on the coolant system, or you may be scalded by hot steam and coolant. Here is an overview of the steps needed to change the coolant. To remove the engine cover, just pull up. To remove these engine shields, there are two types of fasteners that we want to remove. For this type of fastener, press down the middle button and then pry up with a screwdriver. When replacing the fastener, insert and then press the button in until it's flush. For this type of fastener, you can pry up with a screwdriver to get your panel tool, removal tool in there, and then pull up. You can see it's held in place by some ribs. Just insert to reinstall. Next, you want to remove the engine shield by taking out 6 bolts and several fasteners. The fasteners can be removed with this tool. Simply pry underneath them and pull out. This is the engine shield once it's removed. This is the radiator drain plug in yellow. And here is where you can attach a hose to let the coolant drip out. Don't be confused by the inverter coolant drain plug here. It's a 9mm spout, and I put a 7mm inner diameter tube over it that we'll be using elsewhere. The drain plug is a little bit stuck. Can't get it off by hand, so I'm going to use a 22mm socket to get it off, get it started. Next, remove the radiator cap so it will drain quicker. Now that it's done draining, just tighten it up by hand. Take the hose off. Drained about a gallon out of the radiator. The front engine drain plug is over here. You can see the front engine drain plug in the middle of the screen, as well as a place for a tube to fit on. A 10mm socket and a ratchet just fit next to the 7mm ID tubing. This gets tightened back to 9 inch-pounds, but I can't get a torque wrench in there, so I'll just do it by hand. A little more than half a gallon was drained from the front engine drain plug. The rear engine drain plug is over here. There's the rear engine drain plug. It's a little bit stuck, so I got a 9-inch cheater bar I can add. I can fit a torque wrench in here, and we need to tighten to 9 inch-pounds. I added the rear drain plug coolant to the front drain plug coolant and got about 1 gallon. We still have coolant in the overflow tank that we have to remove. I'm going to use a turkey baster and this measuring cup to take out the coolant in the reservoir that's still there. The reservoir cap just pulls off. There's some crud down in the bottom of this, so I'm going to take it off by taking off this screw, this bolt here. This reservoir just pulls up, so we have to get this bar out of the way by loosening this screw and undoing this one. There's a little boss on the bottom that fits in a hole. This hose just hangs out over the outside. Next, we have to open the air drain cock plug, which is located right here. Now we'll be able to see the coolant come up into the hose once it overflows. We'll be using Lexus brand coolant. This is what the old coolant looks like. This is what the new coolant looks like. Pour the whole gallon in slowly to avoid air bubbles. You want to add coolant until it comes out of the air drain cock plug. This is the third 32-ounce pour. You can see I poured maybe a little bit too much. There's approximately 20 ounces left in that last pour. Pinch off the hose and remove it. Oh, looks like we have a lot coming out still. Just let the coolant come out until it stops. Tighten it up to 9 inch-pounds. Should have set the bucket up beneath the area. Now I have to soak that up with some paper towels. There's about 2 ounces left in the fourth pour after we fill the reserve reservoir. Reinstall the radiator cap. Next, we want to squeeze the 2 radiator hoses to try and get some of the air out. It'll be easy to squeeze the hose with air inside and much firmer once it's filled with coolant. You also want to squeeze the lower radiator hose. You can see we can add some more coolant. Replace the radiator cap. Squeeze the upper and lower radiator hoses again to remove air. Top off the coolant. Now all of the coolant has been used up out of 2 gallons. Now we want to put the car in maintenance mode so we can do the coolant bleeding. This will allow the engine to run continuously instead of shutting off. The first thing to do is turn the power on and turn off the air conditioning by putting the fan to off. Set the parking brake before entering inspection mode. While you are in park, depress the accelerator twice. Press your foot on the brake and switch it to neutral. And depress the accelerator twice. Then switch it back to park and press the accelerator twice. Now you can see we've set the engine to front wheel drive maintenance mode where the engine will run continuously. Also, the traction control is off. Be sure not to drive around with the inspection mode on, as this may damage the transaxle. Now start your car by putting your foot on the brake and starting. Let the engine warm up until the thermostat opens. We'll wait 3 minutes and check on it. Hold your hand on the radiator hose until you feel it's hot and there's water flowing through it. It's already happening. With the car running and the thermostat open, circulate the coolant for several minutes just by waiting. Keep a watch on the temperature of the engine and make sure it doesn't go much above halfway. If it does, turn off the engine and let it cool. Next, depress the accelerator to the floor to hold the engine at 2500 RPMs. I'm going to keep revving the engine to 2500 RPM for 3 minutes. The instructions say you should use some gloves and squeeze the radiator hoses to help remove some of the air. But I'm going to wait till I finish 3 minutes because I don't have another person to help me out. Now we want to wear some gloves and squeeze the radiator hoses to get any remaining air out. It's really hard to press. This is filled with coolant. Same way. Next, you want to check the coolant in the coolant reservoir because still it's just a little underneath the full line. Finally, we'll turn the engine off and wait for it to cool and then add coolant to the full line. Turning off the car deactivates the inspection mode. Congratulations, you're done.